I want to see what people say about you when you leave the room. Scary topic, but also exciting. So, what people say about you when you leave the room. Cancer. If you're a Cancer, you might be very true to your sign. If you're a mom, people notice that. People might think you're very nurturing. People could comment on how compassionate you are. Excuse me. People could think that you're sensitive, for the good and the bad, that you're sensitive. If your favorite food is crab, people might mention that. But people think that you have a really good heart. You do mean well. I'm getting the word misunderstanding. So sometimes people might feel like you misunderstand them, or you take something like to heart too much. Yeah, 10 of Swords. What people say is that you've been through a lot, and that might show. You might be just very open about that, but people can tell that you love to great capacity, which means you have the potential to be hurt to a great capacity, and that's something that people are aware of. The Empress. There's the mother energy. The Queen of Swords. Yup. This is so interesting. And the Nine of Cups. Okay. So I always say, because the Empress is all 4 queens of the tarot in one, that when she comes out with one of the queens, it's like you can do everything, but this is the area where you excel. So it's really, really interesting because Queen of Swords, it's Libra. It's just like, and the Empress is Taurus and Libra. Not very Cancerian kind of vibes, but one of the things that's like more of like a shadow attribute of Cancer is like when Cancers feel slighted or feel attacked, they can like go into defense mode to protect themselves and their loved ones. And so what people do notice about you is that while you are like, very like archetypal, loving, caring, kind, abundant, motherly, nurturing, you will also draw blood if you need to. And this is because of the things you have witnessed, because of the things you have been through. Knight of Pentacles is at the top. That was sticking out. You may have had to learn this over time. Very much so. You've learned to be discerning. It was 222 on the timer. So you've learned to be discerning with who you partner with and discerning with the choices you make. And you have learned to protect with fierce loyalty your desires, your wishes, your dreams, your happiness. Very much so. And this is something that people know about you. This is something that's not, so people feel like you're very loving, you're very nurturing, but you have boundaries with a capital B. And you will fight to defend those. People also see you as very straightforward in some ways. Very honest. You don't give an answer you don't intend to keep. Right? Like you don't give like a false answer that you don't intend to like follow up on. Yeah, the Hierophant, you're very values driven. Taurus energy now coming through. You're very values driven. You're fairly open. See how this person here is naked? Nakedness always implies vulnerability, right? But the crown is covered. So you're very open about a lot of things. What people feel like you're not always open about is your thoughts, right? They feel like there's things you keep to yourself. That's kind of that Queen of Swords as well. You're listening. You're letting people tell you who they are, and you might be discerning, but you withhold your judgments until the proper moment. So people might not really know where they stand with you, to be completely honest. And that is something that comes up when you're not around. I do feel like this energy of like if you have like a best friend, for example, it's not saying this is your best friend saying this, but if you have like a best friend and then you have a third friend hanging out, that's newer to the group, when you leave, your best friend might be talking to this new friend and be like, oh yeah, be really careful about what you say with them, or, yeah, I know that they're a little bit cold at first, but for good reason, or, yeah, I know they're a little defensive, and it's hard to get close to them, but once you do, they'll warm up. Like, that's the kind of conversation. And I do feel like because we saw the 10 of Swords, that's very much within the context of, yeah, but they have good reason. I understand why. They've been through blank. Like, that's very much a part of the conversation. It's a qualifying conversation. Yeah, 2 of Wands. People see you as moving in a new direction. People see you with the Star as healing, but looking for something different than what you have had before, what you've known before. Yeah, the High Priestess. You have a very like innate and intuitive sense of boundaries, and I think what people talk about is that you really kind of like listen to your gut instincts about other people. Like, you might not pass judgment openly. You might not like sit around and like talk, smack about people, but you're just not going to put up with it. It's like, no, if I get a bad vibe, I'm leaving. That's very much and it's not up for debate, is something I'm getting. Yes, Two of Pentacles. You, especially like your intuition makes your decisions for you. And so if you're waffling, it's because you're kind of trying to tune in and figure out what spirit is kind of telling you about something. So you might seem like you're on the fence, you're thinking about it, and then seemingly back out at the last minute. It's because your intuition's saying, no, 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 no. It's time to go. Nope, this isn't a good place for you to be. Like, you're not afraid to withdraw or pull yourself out of something if it's not a good fit. If there's an investment that needs to be made, especially materially, so, where you live, how you make your money, like literal like investment of finances, who you loan something to, something like that, you will wait. You might require collateral, but you will wait, right? There's like a sense of like, well, let's just wait and see. You might give people like opportunities on good faith, but that does not mean you're boundaryless. You like have an innate sense of when to pull the plug on something, and people do talk about that when you leave. Yeah, you're not dumb. Yeah, death. People describe you as changing as a result of your experiences, for better, for worse. You're a different person now than you were, I want to say, even 3 years ago. And you've turned into somebody who is very reliant on your intuition, who trusts their intuition and who honors it. Yeah, Page of Swords. And you miss no details. So it's an interesting thing where there's a lot of like affection and love and care with the Empress, but with the Seven of Wands at the bottom and that Queen of Swords, you defend yourself, right? It's not blustering and loud. It's just quiet and it's withdrawal based. And yeah, for seemingly pretty good reason. So that's what people are saying about you when you leave the room.